Alright, so this is a suggestion via a donation. The name of the video is A Staircase to Nowhere Appears in the Giza Plateau. Let's check it out. Coming from
Many
the channel,
ancient sites found
History.
all over the world can no longer be explained away with currently attested academic opinion.
Okay.
Who they say built them, why, or when they were created. The most popular of these
Guys, that definitely looks like tool marks.
built them, why,
Yeah, these are definitely tool marks, bro. But all right,
or when they were created. The most popular of these anomalies are the ancient monuments that can be found upon the Giza Plateau. Currently explained as having been built by our copper tool-wielding ancestors a mere 4,000 years ago, somehow successfully creating some of the most precisely built and indeed enormous ancient structures found on Earth, decidedly choosing to use granite blocks many tons in weight as their building material of choice. Ironically, although these sites are somehow exclaimed as having been built by the ancient Egyptians, any actual, literal explanation of how this was actually done has never been provided. Not only is academic opinion severely lacking any logical understandings as to the construction of these sites, they seemingly attempt to ignore, and in some cases conceal, additional controversial anomalies they simply cannot understand.
guys, here's the thing. I am kind of in the camp of, I think that great flood that happened about 12,000 years ago guys, we may have had a couple of interesting things before that flood, bro. I am definitely in that camp. Human life existed way before that great flood, right? Way before that great flood. About 12,800 years ago or so, right? But I definitely think that some of these things are older than we're saying, right? But, you know, listen, hey, listen, whatever, right? They had a whole lot of time to basically learn how to do these things. They had a whole lot of time to basically, you know, learn how to start tooling things correctly, accurately, precisely. They had something, and I'm not talking about the weird Tartaria thing that you guys had me watching the other day. I'm not talking about that. That's strange, right? But there is something that we're missing from history that a lot of people just don't want to speak about, I'm guessing. I have no idea. I just have that feeling, bro. Because a lot of these super old things that make no sense with how humans, the ignorant humans of the time, allegedly, this was not ignorant, bro. Let's get real. This was extremely purposely built. A lot of it was meant to like align to the stars. And why did things align to the stars? I think they pretty much figured out that it may have even been some type of like asteroid or meteor or something like that, guys, that struck the ocean, that created some type of gigantic tsunami that wiped out all of the civilizations close to water, maybe, right? That could be one thing, but a lot of these things are aligned directly to the stars, and some of them are aligned to very specific stars, guys. I think they were kind of focused on when was the next one coming, and a lot of these things were probably used as some type of meteorological thing, guys, right? That's just my overall opinion on this here, guys. I think that they were just looking to the skies for any type of sign that something like that was going to happen again. They knew based off of some type of prehistory that things happened, so they in fact looked towards the stars.
Enormous stone megaliths are hidden all over Giza, and especially around the base of the Great Pyramids. And not only were these buildings adorned with incredibly hard granite, but also basalt, a similarly tough stone, and another
basalt is everywhere, though,
which would be near impossible to have hewn with mere copper implements. Known as Giza's basalt floor, it is what many people now see as the smoking gun for evidence of advanced engineering having once been responsible for the construction of the site. Amongst the remaining fragments of the basalt
this is the concept of prehistory, guys.
Floor is overwhelming evidence of ancient machinery, telltale precision signatures left on many stones, suggesting high technology was responsible for the shaping of Giza's enormous stones. Cut marks that could only have been left by high-speed disc cutting, striations, precise ridges and countless other curious features have been thankfully left upon these stones, and these surviving tool marks could one day be used to actually identify the technology once used to build the site. We now feel that the evidence to suggest that the modern attested and mass-published theories regarding the origins of the Giza Plateau, its age, and indeed its creator's past capabilities, is currently incorrect and is now overwhelming, and that it is only a matter of time before a revival of this past knowledge and indeed understandings again begins to flourish.
I cannot wait
An
for
announcement that seemingly slipped us by was made recently within Egypt. This announcement pertaining to an amazing discovery made within an area of the Giza Plateau that for a number of decades has been conveniently shut off from the public. Although the location is claimed to be a military training base, archaeologists have apparently been secretly beavering away within this remote slice of antiquity. Announced by the Supreme Council of Egyptian Antiquities, Egyptian authorities have apparently found the mysterious traces of the legendary fourth lost pyramid of the plateau. This provocative announcement stirred up a gale of protest among many Egyptologists, and the reason for this may be because the discovery might turn out to be highly controversial. Although the pyramid is in a very bad state, and this may be due to its immense age, with only a few rows of blocks remain, and these surviving blocks clearly displaying evidence to indicate that the missing blocks have simply eroded away over the eons. This ruin may not be the most important find in the area, or indeed the purpose for the video. Along with these pyramidal remains at the site is another amazing anomaly. In the middle of this mysterious desert, an enormous staircase has been found, plunging into the desert floor. Seemingly excavated before this announcement and left for those who were fortunate enough to get access to the area to rediscover and photograph. This enormous staircase plunges straight through a limestone basin many meters in depth. This surgical slice has revealed an astonishing implication. It has revealed that the Giza Plateau does indeed extend this far. Not only that, but it demonstrates the sheer, unimaginable cubic size of this area of stone. A block of stone that was apparently man-made. Where this staircase actually leads to is as yet unknown, although it is thought to drop far below that which is currently visible, and preliminary scans of the area are suggesting that it plunges through the plateau deep into an ocean of groundwater below. By examining the pictures of the discovery, it appears that the site has indeed been excavated from the sand, having most likely been submerged from view beforehand. The question is, who did these excavations? Who built this unbelievable structure, or indeed the mind-bogglingly enormous Giza Plateau?
Think about this here. If this location is super close to that location, or the fourth pyramid, for example, they needed water, right? Maybe they knew. Well, obviously they knew if they dig deep enough, they'll run into water, right? Those steps could have just been used to, for the most part, ferry water for the people, the slaves, most likely building it, right? That could be a thing. That sounds super plausible. I don't think that's cryptic. The stair to nowhere is really just a stair to a water table.
Who built the pyramids and Sphinx upon it?
Probably the same people that, or the descendants that maybe have built the Nubian ones.
Where did such an enormous stone plateau come from?
That's probably where they got the idea, at least, right? I wouldn't say that the same group of people built these, absolutely not, right? But I do think that the idea of these probably came from the amount of other pyramids that are also on the continent.
How did they shape and carve such mysterious structures with such blocks?
Because these are the youngest.
Or perhaps, most importantly of all, where does this staircase lead? Did whoever undertake this excavation task manage to discover where it led? More research and exploration will undoubtedly be undertaken over the next few years.
Let's see.
We will, of course, keep you posted. We recently covered the impressive ancient dwellings known as dolmens, which can be found littering most of the European countryside. Enormous ancient structures, which we feel were left by a surviving, less capable branch of an earlier civilization, still possessing advanced knowledge, allowing them to build with such stones.
Guys, I've been to 3 of these. Well, 2, 3, 4. 4 dolmens. Dolmens de Antiquera, I think that's what they were called. There were 2 sets of them, 3 in one location, then 1 gigantic one in another location, but still in the same town in the south of Spain. Those things were definitely built by someone who knew exactly what they were doing, and I think the ones in Antiquera may actually be the oldest ones on the planet. And if that is the oldest, and they knew exactly what they were doing, guys. And I mean, I'm sure you can find photos of these dolmens in Antequera, Spain, in Andalusia, right? I'm trying to give you all the keywords to search for if you actually are interested in that. But yeah, guys, no, they knew exactly what they were doing. And these were over 100,000 years old, or something like that, guys. It's wild. So to even think that if they were able to build something like that's 100,000 plus years old, don't quote me on that. I may be wrong. I feel like I may be wrong there, guys. Right? But it's really old. All right. But I'm just going to say 100,000 because I think that may be close to the age. Right. And if they were to build the dolmens in Antequera, Spain, like the way they did, and the pyramids in Giza are like somewhere around 5,000 years old or something like that, guys. 8,000, somewhere in there, guys, right? Then I do think that they actually had the capability to do it, all right? Because the ones in Spain are extremely put together. They're extremely well put together, guys, and like strategically and precisely put together. They're like bricks being laid in ways that don't make any sense for 100,000-year-old place, guys. Just doesn't make any sense. So these dolmens around the world are absolutely places that should be studied. If you are confused with how some people knew things, right, check those out, guys.
Surviving remnants of the group, we also believe, were responsible for the masterfully constructed ancient ruins which can be found upon the same continents. Additionally, this era within human history was the inspiration for an animated TV.
Okay, guys, I apologize for the age. That was completely wrong. All right, that was wildly wrong. I think I may be thinking about something different, guys. These apparently date back 6,000 years. All right, let's go. And yeah, looking at images of them.
TV show, namely the Flintstones. Curiously, the Flintstones, dubbed the modern Stone Age family, could easily be mistaken for a lost advanced civilization.
Oh, okay, I know what happened here. The problem, this is where the confusion began here. There's something in Antequera, Spain called El Turcal, right? And El Turcal is I think, what I was referring to, guys. It's another thing. It's not man-made or anything like that. It used to be underneath the ocean, apparently. It looks like another planet, guys, and that's what I was confusing it with.
Did the makers of the Flintstones know something we are currently unraveling regarding the builders of the Flintstones homes, namely the dolmens? Or is it all a mere coincidence?
Right.
Some of these dolmens still possess as yet unexplained evidence which flies in the face of academics worldwide. Sites such as the Dolmen of Menga.
That's the one.
Found near Malaga in Spain.
Malaga in Spain. This is the one I've been to here, guys. And by the way, the El Turcal that I was referring to is 150 million years old.
This massive dolmen, one of the largest megalithic sites in Europe, is a prime example of the unexplained features which defy current explanation.
It makes no sense. I'm glad they're showing photos of this thing because, like, that's kind of what I'm talking about. It doesn't make any sense how this existed, bro. They basically built like a mansion. This was someone who had a lot of money, a lot of influence in that very specific area. It overlooks a mountain that they called El Indio, right? like literally this one right here, if you were to look out of it, there's a gigantic mountain that looks like a face lying on its back, guys. It's crazy.
Dolmen is 902 feet long, 20 feet wide, and 115 feet in height. It was built with 32 megaliths, the largest of which weighing over 200 tons. Nearby is another impressive dolmen, known as De Vera, discovered between 1903 and 1905 by brothers Antonio and Jose Vera of Antequera. This site it also possesses some of the most impressive megaliths to be found in any dolmens anywhere in Europe.
Yeah, check that out,
these
guys.
incredible structures? How did they build them? La Roche-à-Feu, in the French department of Ille-et-Vilaine in the Brittany region, was named after a legend claiming that the stones were brought by fairies. This clearly inspired by their inexplicable nature. A name of fairy rock was given to many French dolmens or covered walkways. Regardless of whether our own theory is correct, the still surviving features of many of these ancient dolmens is clearly in direct contradiction with attested theory.
Yes. Look at that one in Montana, bro. How did they move this stone, bro? Was it magic? What's funny is that it reminds me of an old story that's told in Malta, guys, with Gigantia, right? Where they said basically there was a giant, right? It's an old myth, right? A giant came out of the ocean. It was a woman, right? And she wanted a place to like lay or something crazy like that. And she came. And when I say giant, I mean like 50-foot tall. We're talking about Gulliver's Island giants, guys. Came and just built it for the lesser beings, guys, to kind of shelter. But she built it in a way that specifically aligned towards very specific constellations, right? It was a super interesting like theory, guys. Check out Gigantia from Malta. If you want to check that out, guys, it's a solid thing.
Alternative study is desperately needed of structures we find highly compelling.
Absolutely.
Throughout the ages, countless reports of unexplained and baffling discoveries have been reportedly made deep within the mines of Earth.
But what is that?
Regardless of the type of mine, or indeed its depth, it seems that these peculiar stories continue to surface, and usually only by word of mouth. Often, attached to these fascinating tales, you will find stories of these artifacts being seized, destroyed, or simply reburied. We are often confronted with an apparent cover-up, vast resources and manpower being harnessed to hide these facts from the world. The motives for choosing to conceal such artifacts from the world could indeed be endless, though regardless of motive, we feel it is imperative that we continue to expose these stories to the earth if we have compelling witnesses and unmistakable evidence of a cover-up. Deep beneath the city of Donetsk, within the Rostov region of Russia, a large foundation of sandstone can be found, something known as rock shield of Carboniferous age. It is about 300 to 360 million years old and is lined with distributions of coking coals that are also of around the same age. Astonishingly, Mr. Kasatskin has discovered, upon the roof of this shaft of coal, an imprint of a chariot wheel, an imprint undoubtedly made before the rock had formed around it. He also discovered another imprint, a small distance further along the shaft. It must be noted that these imprints have remained buried deep within these seams of rock for many millions of years.
Hey. Archaeologists will tell you the wheel is kind of new on this planet, bro. What are you talking about? That's not a real thing. Listen, so I'm not specifically like a conspiracy theorist. That's not me, right? But there are too many unanswered questions in terms of like prehistory. But all archaeologists will say that, none of that stuff exists. But then you see things that make no sense, right? Like random pyramids that now look like mountains, right? And they're covered with grass and trees, and they have tool marks on them from extremely long time ago. That in a time where people were savages, right? Then you see things like this, right? How do you make Right.
If a scientific analysis could have been undertaken upon this artifact, it could have shaken our understandings of world history.
Nah, bro, don't even carbon date, guys, because when you start carbon dating things like rock, things get weird, bro. I would not, under no circumstance do carbon dating or try. How about this? Don't trust carbon dating. That should, like, we need to have a little bit more than a carbon dated thing, because some things will show up as like 3 million years old, 3 billion years old, is some craziness, bro. Trust me, things are weird.
Just like so many other artifacts we have been made aware of, all but a few now stolen from the public domain. Upon realizing the implications of his discovery, Mr. Kasatskin, an extremely experienced foreman in ventilation and safety engineering, specializing in seismic prognosis, thankfully took several photographs of his miraculous and now concealed discovery before officially reporting it and requesting a scientific evaluation. When his boss notified the owners of the mine in the hopes of getting an analysis of the artifact with an attempt to preserve it, to his boss's surprise, they demanded he continued the work through the shaft so that it could be subsequently flooded, which is unfortunately what has occurred, making further exploration of the sites impossible. He stated that he's investigated further regarding the Western Mine's history with the fellow miners there, and was able to confirm the existence of the other print within that mine.
Guys, there are reasons for some people doing this. I can only give you, like, you know, oh God, guys, I don't know if I should say this. I can give you some, like, information from, like, some people that I've encountered in Spain, right? This is just a broad statement, all right? Guys, so something happened in Spain, the Civil War, and there are a lot of bodies, unfortunately, buried, kind of all, well, not even buried. They basically just decompose on top of the land, and then over time, obviously, the land grew above them, right? There were also like mass burial situations that happened, right? So if you buy land in like areas, I don't know, guys, like Villanueva del Rosario or Trabuco or Archidona, guys, like if you buy land in anywhere around these areas very specifically, you may unfortunately uncover like a burial site, guys. You may. And if you report that you found a burial site, let's say you want to put a brand new pool in, the government will come in and take your land. So a lot of these people that find a lot of these ancient things on their property, they will not like, well, I guess it's nefarious, bro. It is a little nefarious. They won't be like, hey, listen, sure, no problem, you can take my land that I paid for that you're not going to give me money for, but now you're going to have all these people on my land every single day for the next forever, right? Until I basically expire. So what these people are doing is literally destroying this stuff. They are. In Spain, bro, listen, I'm just saying in a very broad way, okay, that people are destroying ancient history. And there's a lot of ancient history in Spain, guys. No one wants to find a piece of a Roman aqueduct on their land, okay? Or no one wants to find like a Phoenician water basin or something like that on their land. They're going to destroy it, bro. I'm telling you. It's going to be destroyed. And is it selfish? Yeah, but that's their land type of thing. So that's what happens in Spain every single day. And I'm almost positive if you're from like maybe Italy or France or somewhere in that region, you probably know exactly what I'm saying. There's a lot of history. You don't want the government coming and taking your land. They will. They will. UNESCO, bro, they will, in fact, take your land. You'll get nothing for it. But unfortunately, you will be destroying history. It's a fact. You do not want to find a mass grave, guys. You do not. There are people that will take all the stuff that's inside of it, except for obviously the bodies, sell all that stuff online, and then rebury the bones, let's say, and then continue digging out their pool. They're not telling no one.
It had been damaged by blast hole driving and was little mentioned.
So this is not surprising.
It was indeed there. He was sometimes in this cut, he said, and got to take a good look at it. He says that he was surprised, but also somewhat afraid to admit that these objects are of artificial origin. We, on the other hand, are excited by such a premise, and we'll keep you posted on any further developments regarding the mine.
There will be no more, specifically if it's been flooded purposely. They don't want you on your property.
Hakeberg, meaning Fortress of Hake, is an ancient, once fortified ruin found within the Gürpınar district of the Van province in Turkey's Eastern Anatolia region.
There's a lot in Turkey,
It was used by
guys.
Urartian kings as a fortress during the 8th century BC. According to academia and Armenian folklore, the fortress was built by Hake, the legendary founder of the Armenian nation. It was situated close to the site where he slew the invading Babylonian king Bel, who, according to said legends, was in fact an ancient giant. Hake and his people had migrated south toward the warmer lands. There they discovered a wicked giant known as Bel. Bel tried to impose his tyranny upon Hake's people, but Hake refused to submit. Hake eventually rose up and defeated Bel in what has become known as the Battle of Giants. However, what is intriguing regarding this story is the fact that the sites mentioned are actually ruins left by the same highly advanced and thus highly capable lost civilization, responsible for many of the exquisitely stone-built sites which dot the many continents of Earth. Additionally, the fact that ancient giants are again mentioned surrounding such ruins could be seen as a compelling lead. Easter Island, Guatemala, the Amazon, Peru, South America, the list goes on, all with their own intriguing tales of ancient giants, either once inhabiting said sites, or in some cases, noted as being responsible for their construction. Much of the ancient site is now extremely eroded, yet in many areas, such as Kavu Steppe, a number of remarkably refined stone blocks are still to be found, presumably once foundation stones, these blocks still retaining their extraordinary machined-like appearance. These blocks were so perfectly carved, we can only replicate such levels of accuracy using modern-day technologies. The question is, how did a civilization so far back within known history create so many stones cast to the same degree of precision? What's more, these masterfully and mysteriously created stones are seemingly placed upon an even older site, one clearly of an even greater antiquity. Were these newer stone blocks actually robbed stonework from another area of the structure? These blocks then used by a later civilization to build upon these ruins? Are we actually looking upon two lost ancient civilizations' work in ascending order? Rather like what we have postulated later covered the enormous skeletal blocks of the Great Pyramid. Were these sites actually the work of a lost civilization of ancient giants? Or are all these separate accounts of the same beings found all over the world a mere coincidence?
Yeah.
With so many sites and legends attached thereof, telling the same thing, it is only a matter of time before the truth is proven beyond doubt.
Yeah, so this whole video seemed to be about prehistory. I like the concept of it. I like theorizing about it. Obviously, nothing can be proved, but I do love the fact that we can at least sit and have conversations about things that may have potentially happened, right? While not really diving into the concept of like conspiracy, right? Do I think that ancient humans were smarter than we were letting on? Yeah, absolutely. Do I think that archaeologists consistently try to control the narrative of history before the Great Flood? Yeah. Did the Great Flood happen? Yeah, it definitely happened. It happened. Absolutely. Every single culture on the planet kind of reported something happened. And the only way we can kind of define that is if there was some type of meteor. And this is the reason why everyone started building towards the sky. Right? That was when the obsession with the sky started happening, guys, historically at least. But all right, listen. Let me know in the comments on the next subject we should be checking out, and I will get into that as soon as I possibly can. All right, and listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day and enjoy your day thoroughly.